Hi guys, good morning again. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steve Carson with Passport to Photography. In today's video, we're going to be covering the clone stamp tool in Photoshop. It is a widely used tool. It's very powerful. It has a lot of applications. I use it in virtually all of the photographs that I take and publish online. So it's a great tool to know how to use, and we're going to be covering it in today's video. So don't go away.
Alright guys, let's go ahead and just jump into this. This first image that I have up here is just a picture of a red fox. I took this up in Harford County, Maryland. It's kind of a more rural county up in a area right above Baltimore City. So at any rate, if we wanted to do anything here, the first thing that we would do is, because we always work non-destructively, is I want to duplicate my layer. So I take this and drag it down to here and make another blank layer. So this way I can make my adjustments on this layer, and if for some reason I don't like my edits, I can always go ahead and delete this layer without affecting the bottom layer, the original picture image. So that's what we mean by working non-destructively. So it's really important to do that when you can. And we're going to practice on this image, and I have two more images right behind it, and we're going to be doing the same thing using the clone stamp tool, but just using it a little bit differently on a couple of different images, so you can kind of get a feel for really how to use it and how to apply it. So at any rate, that's my first step. I duplicated my layer, then I go up here to the clone stamp tool. I can right click and make sure that the tick mark right there is next to clone stamp. That means that clone stamp is in fact what I'm using at the moment. And then I also want to make sure that since I'm applying this with a brush, when you select the clone stamp tool, it automatically applies as a brush. I want to make sure that the edges of my brush are as soft as possible so the effect is feathered, incidentally. So there's no real way to look and see where I edited the image. You can't see any rough edges or any obvious area that I've edited. So we'll go up here to my brush control, and hardness is on 0. That's what we want. That means it's as soft as it can get. So that's perfect. So now I'm going to go down here to my image, and let's see. I think I'm going to try and get rid of this leaf right here and just do a little bit of cleanup. It was autumn when I took this shot, and there was woods all around here, so there was just leaves everywhere. I like this image personally, and I'm not going to be saving any of these changes that we make here, but just for the sake of the tutorial, I wanted to just show what could be done with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my cursor right about here, because it's an area that looks familiar to this area. If you can imagine it without a leaf here, these areas here in terms of color and tone, they look fairly similar. So, and I'm going to left bracket a little bit just to make that brush a little smaller. So I'm going to press and hold the Alt button on my keyboard, and then once it turns to that, I'm going to left mouse click, and that confirms that I'm going to be pulling from this area when I start my cloning. And I'm going to go back up here to this leaf, and I'm just going to, with my left mouse button, I'm going to click and hold, and that's it. So that leaf is gone, and we can't even tell that I really did anything to that area, but I can toggle this adjustment on and off with this little eyeball icon right here. And there's the before, there's the after. So that cleans that up a little bit, and you want to just kind of do this in areas. You can also sort of see I shot this at a very shallow depth of field because his paws and legs here are sharp, as well as the grass right here, but immediately behind him it's blurry, and it starts getting blurry right in front of him as well. So you can tell there's a bokeh here in the background where everything is sort of just blurry and blown out. And so that's all nice and pretty and everything, but my point to this is that you want to make sure you wouldn't want to, if we wanted to take this leaf out right here, you wouldn't want to clone from an area back here or over here, because it just doesn't look similar. If I wanted to take that out, I'd probably clone right about here. So let's give that a shot. Again, I'm going to hit the Alt button. I'm going to press and hold it on my keyboard. and then left mouse button just to confirm that. And I'm going to come over here and again left mouse button, and that's it. So let's go back and toggle that effect on and off. That's before, that's after. Looks pretty good. Can't tell that I did anything there. And we could also do, let's see, let's take this leaf out over here. Same thing. I'm going to hit the Alt button, left mouse button, and go over. And again, good deal. And sometimes you'll see that you have to actually, you left mouse click and you hold that left mouse button down when you're kind of cloning, and then sometimes you have to stop. You have to lift your finger off of the mouse button and then push it again and hold it and finish your cloning, because what will happen sometimes is you start to basically clone what was there. That, let's see, to explain it, the part of the image that you're affecting right now, that change doesn't take effect really until you lift your finger off of the mouse button. So sometimes if you go too far, and if you're cloning from right behind the cursor, you start to pull in the first bit of leaf or whatever it is that you're trying to get out of the image. You start to pull some of that back in. Let me see if I can give you an example. So we'll do it over here. I'm going to take out this leaf right here, which is kind of big, and I'm going to start I'm just going to pull from right back here, so it's going to be pretty close. And I'm going to just go right here. And so see, now we start to see that leaf is showing up again, but that leaf isn't where those crosshairs are. There's no leaf there, but that effect hadn't taken place yet. It wasn't finalized, so even though it's not on the screen, the clone stamp tool still has that image in memory and pulls that in, and so you start to see it show up again. So what we do is, I'll just redo that. I'll go back here, clone for here, and start to wipe this out. And then I'm going to stop. Take my finger off the mouse and put it back on again and hold it. And there we go. Now we can see a little bit of repetitive pattern right there. And you can also take that out just by cloning another area close by. I'd maybe do like here. And then bring it back over. Something like that. And that kind of disrupts it. You can't even tell. And again, we can just toggle on and off that effect. So that's the cleanup that we've done so far here. And if you do something in Photoshop also, this is worth mentioning, if you do something in Photoshop and you just want to dial down the effect, you don't want to necessarily get rid of this layer and just completely wipe out the changes you made. You just want the changes to be not as strong. You can go up here to the opacity area and click right here on this arrow, and it's at 100% right now, meaning that the changes that we're making on this layer are at full strength. But we can take that and we can dial it down, and as we start to do that, you can see all the images, all those leaves kind of come back, and they're starting to fade, and now they're back. And so that, when it's set to 0, that's essentially like we have not made any changes. But we can pull it all the way back, and that's with full effect of our changes. So it's not particularly useful with the clone stamp tool, but in just for future reference, with a lot of the other tools in Photoshop here, you may find yourself using that, especially when you're doing some blending and different things with sky. Sometimes you don't want full strength, you want 70 or what have you. So at any rate, let's leave that image. Let's move on to the next one. This is the Jefferson Memorial. I took this in DC, right across from the tidal basin. This was during a photo walk that I was attending down there. I'm basically a local photographer to DC, so jumping in the car and heading down there is not a big deal for me to do, so I'm very lucky in that regard. Anyway, so first step here is going to be to duplicate our layer. So go down here, pull it, and clone stamp tool's already chosen because we've been working in here, and I already know my brush is as soft as it can be. So something I thought this would be good for is just to show you how to take some of the geese out of the sky. And so how I would do it is, again, hit the Alt button on my keyboard, click with my left mouse button to confirm, and then move over here. And I'm kind of, you might hear those clicks as I'm going. I'm kind of picking my finger off the left mouse button so I'm not starting to duplicate the beginnings of that goose again. So that removed him, and we can kind of just confirm the before and after. Yeah, looks pretty good. I can do the same thing with this guy over here. Again, the Alt button on my keyboard, left mouse click to confirm. And slowly start to take this guy out. I'm going to make my brush slightly smaller because I'm getting close to this other guy here. Okay, confirm it again. Yeah, looks pretty good. And we could just keep doing this. You know, this is the power of Photoshop, the power of layers. You can make these kinds of changes, and it's very, very difficult for somebody to know that you did anything to the image at this point. So you can just go around, Alt, left mouse click, and I'm being very careful also to make sure that I'm choosing areas where the sky is matching about the exact same color. So of the area around the geese that I'm trying to take out. So I wouldn't, for instance, if I was going to take out this guy right here, I wouldn't be cloning from up here, and I'll show you why. So far our changes again look totally seamless. Everything looks pretty good. Can't tell that it did anything, but let's get this guy out of here. So I'm going to clone from up here instead. What I would normally do is probably start cloning from right back here. I'd pick this area right about here, and I'd probably confirm it with a left mouse click, and then I'd move over and just start taking him out. But let's do it the wrong way. Let's start, we're going to pick cloning from up here, and I'll start going over him. And you go, wow, that looks awful. And it does. That's why it's so important to pull from the area right by or right next to, so that the colors, the tone, the luminosity, all of that is going to work and fit, and it's going to look seamless and natural. That's where we get when we don't do it that way. So let me Control Z. Yeah, and we're back again. So not too bad. And we'll move on to our last one here. This is the Washington Monument. Again, this is right off the tidal basin down here in DC. And so not any big deal, but some of these bright lights might be distracting, and some people might want to take some of those out. So we'll go on that premise for this. I'm going to zoom in here. Sometimes it's a lot easier to work, and the quality of your work is better if you zoom in quite a bit, because if you zoom in a lot and the changes look good this far zoomed in, by the time you zoom out, they're going to look wonderful. You're not going to be able to tell you did anything to it. So again, to work non-destructively, this is where we start. I'm going to duplicate my background layer. Already have, nope, sorry, we didn't. I'm going to choose my clone stamp. I thought it was still selected. I'm going to confirm that my brush has 0 hardness. Excellent. And I'm going to make this guy a little smaller. And I'm going to choose these woods right back here. Left mouse click to confirm. Bring it on forward. And you can kind of hear me picking my finger up with that mouse. So I took care of that. For this, I'm going to take out this guy here. I'm going to Alt button, left mouse click to confirm. And I'm going to start right about here. Look at that, I'm picking up some of that. Let's undo that. I'm going to go here, reconfirm it, but I'm going to start a little bit lower. This is going to be better. So sometimes you're not going to get it all perfect on the first go around, and you're going to have to do a redo. You're going to have to hit Control Z and back out of it. And just kind of start anew, if you will. Also, I'm going to scroll over here to the left a little bit, so I'll hit my space bar and then left mouse click, and that's going to let me drag over. And there's a couple closer to the end. Now these, I wouldn't, again, Let me zoom out to show you. I wouldn't normally be doing these edits. I'm fine with how this looks, because you got to pay attention here. If you come back over here, let's toggle our effect on and off. So we took out that guy and that guy. So here's the reflections on the water from those. And we left those reflections in. To do really an accurate, 100% accurate edit here, we would have to take those reflections out as well. Somebody may not notice, but somebody might. Somebody might look at this and go, there's no light sources over here. Why is there reflections in the water? That's not right. And the whole point of the editing is to make sure that you keep things looking as natural as possible, and it's not obvious or real evident that you made changes to the image. So that's about it. I'm going to actually go ahead and delete this, pull it down, drag it to the trash can, because I don't want to save those. But I think you get the gist of it, and that's basically the point to the whole clone stamp tool. Again, once you're done with these, and I'll show you over here on this other image, I would go ahead. This is already selected, we can tell. I would hit the shift button and left mouse click on that one. Once these both are selected, right click, merge layers, and then save your image from there. I'm not going to resave this, but that's what you would do. And that's about it. So I hope that answers your questions about the clone stamp tool and demystifies it. I would heavily suggest and encourage you to get out there and take pictures and just start your editing, man. Just go ahead and go at it. The clone stamp tool is very powerful. You're going to use it a lot. Get your practice in. The more you practice, it's just like anything else, you're going to get better at it. So that's it. If you found some value in this, and I hope you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps my channel out immensely. Helps me keep the lights on to this place, so it puts a big smile on my face. I'm happy about that. So please don't forget to do that, and we'll see you again next time here on Passport to Photography. Take care.